Morning warriors, welcome to Why Shy Why. Thanks for joining me this week. Today I want to talk about a concept that came to me, was introduced to me only about a month ago, but I've been doing a little bit of understanding and research and a bit of reading around this and finally figured out that what we're talking about is something I've known all along. The Mongolian Horde concept for software engineering or software development. Okay, so where did the name come from? Well, the Mongolian Horde concept is basically an idea that when you are trying to win a war, you just throw more people at the problem, or at the conflict, I guess. Now, in software engineering, there's quite an interesting parallel where you would throw more people, or maybe more tech, or just generally more money at a software project in order to make the software better, higher quality, or potentially to make it conclude quicker or in a shorter elapsed time. Now, the problem with that is this. Throwing more resources at a software project specifically is kind of, well, put it this way, at a certain point, you're not going to get anything out of it, right? And actually what you're going to start doing is you're going to not ensure a higher quality piece of software while you are actually ensuring a higher cost for that particular piece of software. We have a whole bunch of authors that have talked about this concept. They haven't necessarily called it the Mongolian Horde, but one specifically that I remember, I can't remember exactly what his name was, Stephen something. He wrote this thing back in the 80s when software development was just sort of, finding its feet. And this particular author said that it's not necessary to throw a whole bunch of people into a software project if you have few very good people. So when you can, for example, when you're thinking about recruitment, try to find a budget that will bring in less people but higher quality than more people of lower quality, because essentially what you want is people that can actually self-manage and self-organize, especially if you're in Agile. A clearly obvious way that you might think that this is actually an anti-pattern or not true in this case is open source. Now, even in open source initiatives, guys, you'll notice that, well, yes, you have a whole bunch of people looking at the same code, but you still have the sort of quality problems that you would have. Remember, the quality of software has an inverse relationship with its cost, right? So at a certain point, you're going to find that the quality doesn't increase much, but you have to pay a lot more for that particular small increase. So if we were to bring in the Pareto principle here and say, well, why don't we plan for quality at 80%? I know that some people will freak out about this, but let's plan for quality at 80%, and that will only take us 20% of the cost. And then we can decide whether we want to pay the other 80% to get 20% more quality, right? So keep that in mind, even in initiatives where there is no money involved, for example, in open source. What you're going to find is that even having multiple hundreds, maybe thousands of sets of eyeballs doesn't necessarily help you get quality in your software. So here's my top tip, right? Next time you're managing a software project, and I want to say here that software projects are very different from other ones, especially hardware. You can't bucket them in. Be smart about it. Map out exactly what you want, and then think about, do I want people for this? Do I want technology for this? Do I want, money for this? What is it that you want? Map out your needs first, and then start spending. Don't just throw developers at a particular technical problem and expect them to do what you hope you would do, as the Mongols thought they would do, is just throw people at the problem, and what ended up having was, well, chaos, as we know. Alright guys, thanks for hanging in there this week. If you want to talk, get in touch, shoot us an email, comment, like, or share. Cheers.